So, okay, Year 7, we didn't have quite enough time to finish the worksheet today. So before you try to do the homework, I thought I might just read you a bit of the poem. Because although it's a modern translation, and not nearly as weird as the original Anglo-Saxon, it still sounds pretty weird. And that is because Anglo-Saxon poetry is quite different from ours. For a start, it doesn't rhyme. It goes on accented syllables and a whole lot of alliteration instead of rhyme. So in the first line, you've got moorland, misty crags. Then you've got God's wrath, Grendel, monster-minded mankind, sundry to seize in the stately house, and stuff like that. Listen up for it. Now, I've given you the basic background to the study. What you need to know is that Beowulf is now about 18, strong, handsome, brave, boring, usual hero stuff. And his foster father, the king Hrothgar, is living with all his noblemen and thanes in this huge banqueting hall called Heorot. And unfortunately, they are being plagued by a monster. Now, this monster is called Grendel. I've always wanted to call a kid of mine Grendel, but I wasn't allowed. And Grendel lives with his mama at the bottom of a haunted lake with all sorts of sea monsters and things. And Grendel, in fact, is a direct descendant of Cain, the son of Adam and Eve, who was the first murderer, and is therefore accursed and cast out from mankind. And he wanders around the banqueting hall at night, and he gets very jealous and lonely because they're all in there partying and feasting, and he can't join in, so he decides that he's going to eat them one by one. And one night, Hrothgar, the king, asks Beowulf for help. So Beowulf sits up and waits for the monster, and we have a big hand-to-hand fight, and here it goes. Then from the moorland by misty crags, with God's wrath laden, Grendel came. The monster was minded of mankind now, Sunday to seize in the stately house. Under welkin he walked till the wine palace there, gold hall of men, he gladly discerned, flashing with fretwork. Not first time this, that he the home of Hrothgar sought, yet ne'er in his life day, late or early, such hardy heroes, such old thanes found. To the house the warrior walked apace, parted from peace. At the portal, opened, though with forged bolts fast, when his fists had struck it, and baleful he burst in his blatant rage. He burst in the house's mouth. All hastily then, o'er fair-paved floor the fiend trod on, ireful he strode. There streamed from his eyes fearful flashes like flame to see. Okay, so he's broken down the door, the locked door with his fists, and nobody's woken up, and now he's marching through with flames shooting out of his eyes. He spied in the hall the hero band, kin and clansmen clustered asleep, hardy liegemen, then laughed his heart, for the monster was minded ere morn should dawn savage, to sever the soul of each life from body, since lusty banquet waited his will. But weird forbade him to seize any more of men on earth after that evening. Eagerly watched Hygelac's kinsman, his cursed foe, how he would fare in the fell attack. Not that the monster was minded to pause. Straightway he seized a sleeping warrior for the first, and tore him fiercely asunder. The bone frame drank blood in streams, swallowed him piecemeal, bit by bit. Swiftly thus the lifeless corpse was clear devoured, in feet and hands. Then further he hied. For the hardy hero with hands he grasped, felt for the foe with fiendish claw for the hero reclining, who clutched it, boldly, prompt to answer, propped on his arm. Soon he saw that shepherd of evils that never he met in this middle world, in the ways of earth another white, with heavier handgrip. As heart he feared, solid in soul, none the sooner escaped. Fain would he flee, his fastness seek the den of devils. No doings now, such as oft he had done in days of old. Then bethought him the hardy Higelac Thane of his boast at evening. Up he bounded, this is Beowulf, grasped firm his foe, whose fingers cracked. The fiend made off, but the earl close followed. The monster meant, if he might at all, to fling himself free and far away, fly to the fens. He knew his fingers' power in the grip of the grim one. Anyway, they go wrestling for a while. And then the outlawed Dire took mortal hurt. A mighty wound showed on his shoulder. The sinews cracked and the bone frame burst. To Beowulf now the glory was given, and Grendel thence death-sick his den in the dark moor sought, noisome abode. He knew too well that here was last of life, an end of his days on earth. And there you go. There's poor Grendel screaming blue murder as Beowulf actually pulls his arm out by the shoulder. Grendel, bleeding, runs off back to the haunted lake and swims down to die in his mama's arms. And Beowulf nails the arm and shoulder up on the side of the banqueting hall as a trophy of his win and the battle. And Grendel, as I said, dies in his mama's arms. And guess who comes back the next night to avenge him? For more of this fascinating story, wait till next Sunday. See you.